Hello and welcome back to the CodeMaven channel. This time we are going to see why it might be useful on GitHub Actions or in general any CI system to let all the parallel jobs run to completion or fail to completion, unlike normally when you usually just let the first failure cancel all the other jobs. So it all started again on PyDigger. Let me just show it to you. So it started on PyDigger, where I bumped into this package called Python helper that had a link to its GitHub repository, obviously, and didn't have a continuous integration configured. So I went there, cloned the project, and ran it on my computer, and it failed. And so I reported the failure here. This is I'm going to show you the issue. It's still open. So I reported the failure. That I ran PyTest. So first of all, I ran PyTest with the name of the test file. The test file is called test with capital T. It's a little bit strange, not according to the standard. I included the output that I saved. Some failure. There was some failure. Quickly, quite soon, after a couple of hours, actually, good night's sleep, I received a response from the author saying that there was one error, and then the thing should be executed like this: Python test py. Fine, whatever. I don't really understand why, but that doesn't really matter. So I ran this again, and this time I got this report. Now we can see. In the meantime, the author also changed a little bit the tests, so the result included this last line. So it allows us to see more better what is the test failure. And the test failure is actually comparing two ways of getting the timestamp, the current timestamp, and they are different. And if you can look at this, they are different in microseconds or something like that. Yeah, so it's very, very tiny difference. And I was surprised, why does the author even expect these to be different? I mean, they can to be the same. I mean, after all, if you get the current timestamp, then one after the other, then there are some microseconds passing, unless your computer is really, really, really fast, or if you are mocking the time. So I was surprised, why was he even expecting this to pass? But obviously it's passing on his computer. Otherwise he would have already fixed it and wouldn't tell it why that he's surprised that it's failing on my computer. Anyway, so I again went and said, okay, let's configure now the continuous integration and let him see, because, well, he can't debug on my computer. So I went ahead, forked the project, added GitHub Actions. Let me open the fork as well, so we can see. And I'll show you the configuration file in a minute, but this is what I got from the GitHub Actions. So this is the first failure that I received. And here what you can see is that it fails on Ubuntu on versions 3.9 and Python version 3.9 and 3.10. And then all the others are canceled. So the thing is that GitHub Actions runs, so I'm using a matrix in GitHub Actions. So it will run on the 3 operating systems, Ubuntu, macOS, and Windows, and on 3 different versions of Python. And GitHub Actions theoretically could run all of them in parallel. In fact, it seems that it started to run these 2 in parallel, or maybe it's more, I don't know. Anyway, the point is that the default way it works, that if the default configuration of GitHub Actions, that if these parallel or theoretically parallel jobs, one of them fails, then all the rest are going to be canceled or not even started, depending on if they have already started. And so that's why what you can see is that it fails on 2 machines that apparently failed sort of in the same time. And all the rest were not executed or were canceled before they reached the failure or success. So I figured, okay, it might be more useful for the author to see all the results before he gets started. So I changed the configuration. I'll show you exactly what I did. This is the configuration file, flows. and apparently it's open somewhere else now, but doesn't matter for now. And I added this entry to the configuration, the fail fast, with the false value. Apparently by default it's true. And this would mean that it won't fail, won't cancel all the other jobs if one of them fails. So this will make all the jobs run to, well, completion, whatever that success or failure. And this is what surprised me, that it failed now on the three versions of Python, both on Ubuntu Linux and on Mac OS, but it succeeded on Windows. So it made me think a couple of things. One, probably the author doesn't have a much faster computer than I, but he's actually using Windows, and for there the test pass on that machine, on that operating system. And the other thing is, why would it work on Windows if it fails? I mean, this is time. So if you look back what the results, what my output was, what I could assume that maybe on Windows the precision of these of the date time now is not the same. I haven't looked at the actual tests and the code, so I'm not sure what is the story there. But that's sort of but I thought. Anyway, I sent in the pull request, and within a few minutes, I already saw a response to it and a fix to it. So and it was accepted, the pull request. So if you look at the GitHub Actions now of the real repository, of the original repository, you can see the merge that my pull request was accepted with the GitHub Actions. And then quickly he fixed first, I think, the one on Ubuntu, and then also on OS X apparently. I guess I'm going to check. Yeah, now it's all passing on all tests. I don't know what is the fix. I haven't looked at that. The main point of this video is actually the story is that it's quite useful, or it's sometimes useful to allow all the tests runs to try to run, even though I think the normal behavior should be that they fail fast. So that's the default, because we don't really want to waste the resources of GitHub Actions. If in general, if it fails on one operating system, one version of Python, then, well, we should fix this and then run the whole thing again, and then maybe we'll see a failure on some other version, other operating system, or other version of Python. But we might not want to waste really the resources of GitHub Actions running the whole tests on all the platforms, even though we might have a syntax error and it will fail on each one of them anyway. So that's it for now. I think, yeah, I think that's it for now. I hope that this video and this example helps you with your GitHub Actions and in general configuring CI systems. And if you liked the video, then please do click on the like button and click on the follow to follow the channels. And see you in the next video. Bye-bye.